because you choose your class, but they are all set for being DPS in the beginning. Yeah, so you can either if you choose a guardian who is wearing heavy armor and wielding claws to big swords and stuff, or else you choose a ranger who is fighting with a bow or pistols and something like that. And we have Oracle, who is also a melee fighter but using some kind of magic in close combat. And at least we have a sorcerer. Well, you can see he's using a lot of magic like fireballs and ice and stuff. But they're all doing DPS. And then later in the game, if you tame the dragons and if you choose different skills, then you just set up your specific roles. That you say, hey, I want to be a tank or a healer, but you can always change them by getting another dragon and equipping other skills so that they are not set to this role, that you're not fixed with this role, that you can just fulfill many needs, which is in MMOs I think very important. If you go with your friends to an instance or to a dungeon, yeah, it's not always a healer around, so in Great Prophet there should be.
We wanted to offer like unparalleled character customization and development, and we thought, well, the way to do that isn't to have 16 or 20, 30 classes. We just need 4 archetypes. We can take every single class that's been present in any MMO up until this point, and then refine that down to 4 different class types.
Yeah, you can see, of course, the typical customization of the characters. We've made a lot of presets for faces, for hairstyle, anything that you can make the character look as you want. And of course you can go to the details, it's always typical, making whatever you like.
Because character custom,
you can just do it solo. If you have just one guy going with you, you can do it with 2 people or with 3 people, so we don't want to be our players forced into a special...
And wait time to
Exactly, so there are at least 3 in any zone, so it's making up for singing. Actually, we have now about 15 dungeons in the game with only just adventure dungeons, and there are even the bigger versions, which I will just show you now.
So essentially 7 difficulty levels.
This is for the legendary dungeons. They are designed for groups, so if they have more bosses, like they usually featuring 3 up to 6 bosses, and they are a bit larger, you have to you do at least go 1 hour into them. For the adventure dungeons, they are designed to be like 15 minutes, just a quick snack of the dungeon.
And you might be asking yourself, dragons, are we going to see dragons in the instances? Yes. There will even be dragons you can train and capture inside the instances,
By using my hand.
As with every single feature in the game, there are multiple different customization options, 7 difficulty levels. I feel like for every single aspect of the game, we've added so much customization and scope. It's almost as though players will have too much freedom to know what to do with it.
It's difficult to balance everything, maybe, no?
Yeah, it definitely could be challenging to balance, but I think we learnt a lot from Runes of Magic. I don't know if you played it yourself.
Yeah, so we played it sometimes,
so with Runes of Magic there was the dual class possibilities. We even had triple class possibilities. You could combine 3 different classes into one, and that presented a lot of balancing challenges. But I think we learnt quite a bit from that.
So we're going to see the first boss. And for the balancing, I want to say is just if you offer players a lot of possibilities to each player, to each class and stuff, it makes balancing far more easier. Because everybody can literally has all the possibilities. So
we also have to be vigilant and make sure that one particular build or class isn't getting too overpowered. I think it helps a lot when you have a large player base, because then you can take a look at the metrics.
Exactly.
So now the first boss entered the fight. As you see, my level is far above because I'm cheating. I'm sorry, but usually it's designed for 5 players, and to do it alone I have to cheat a bit, so I set up my level much higher. And usually this boss is going to stomp on us. He's throwing us away. He's making us go down, lay on the ground, and what do you say? Knocked out exactly. Sorry.
You may notice that some of the creatures in the game sort of have aspects of dragon. So the background story ties in with ancient Chinese mythology, where the interpretation of dragons is quite open. And you may see kind of elements of dragon all over the world, and that's because dragons were responsible for creating the world. They are the gods.
Yeah, that was a lot of cheating. Sick from Hungary. Come on. Alright, so now we're finishing. And it's what? Open up, new way in the dungeon. Yeah, as I just said, there were 4 bosses in this instance, but it would take too long to show them all to you guys now. So, we have mentioned the housing and the frontier system.
Okay.
This is a very important part of our game, but unfortunately we can't show it to you, but we can tell you about it. So we have some vast areas where you can do player housing. You just go there, build a spot where you can build your house, and a lot of spots in one area so that you really have a neighborhood. You don't have your own instanced house and never see anybody passing it. You can just literally look out of the window and you see what your neighbor is building, what he has in his house, and if he's whatever from
You choose the neighbors around?
No, you don't choose. You just
The concept is that there should be a constant feeling of tension. So you have these numerous islands that are, appear in the sky, and the cross-server technology will enable us to have territory control. So there will be fights between rival guilds, rival factions. Not only will you be able to build your own house and customize it on one of the floating islands, but your guild or another guild will be able to actually own that very island.
Okay.
Yeah, there's one big castle set to each island that the guilds can fight for. A huge battle with siege weapons. You can also summon NPC dragons fighting for you, like big elder protective dragons, whatever. And as soon as one gains control over this island, he will be the lord of this area, and you can raise taxes and something like that.
You'll even be able to collect taxes from your
neighbors.
And what I think what's also very exciting is that as players will be building those homes, those mansions, perhaps even castles at a later stage, is that you'll have towns emerging on these islands that look completely unique, you know, based upon who's living there. Who's decided to...
The housing is an instance, or is
it's
a big area, or...
So it's our cross-server technology. It is within an instant, but you can literally explore any island.
Okay.
You can travel between them on your dragon.
Okay.
There also is, we're also featuring apartments. They're very small areas and very cheap. They are instanced. So everybody can have an apartment, a house, but if you just choose to have a small apartment, you save a lot of in-game money, because for the houses you have to pay rent.
Okay.
So if you don't pay it, well, you get some warnings, and after that the house will just gone, but all your furniture will stay. You will have some NPC keeping them for you.
Okay.
So if you once decide to re-rent the house, you can just put all your furniture back inside.
So you'll have these sort of unique looking towns and villages that have been created by the community popping up.
Right.
And what's particularly exciting as well is that we plan to integrate aerial combat in the future. So you'll see people kind of, you know, landing and fighting with their dragon, breathing fire on a village perhaps.
That's nice.
Yeah. But well, you can breathe fire there, but you can't destroy the player houses. So the house itself is kind of a safe zone. Yeah, nobody can drag you out of your home and burn your furniture. We think that's not a lot of fun if they destroy what you have worked for.
Yeah.
So, but if you, as soon as you leave your house, you're
in the
PvP
PvP.
area.
That's nice.
Exactly.
So I think we've covered